So if you are laying down, then with your legs out long, then making sure that the legs and the feet are mat width apart. And that if you're in constructive rest pose, you've got the legs into that pyramid shape where the feet are wider than your hips and the inner knees are touching. Having the arms either a little away from the body, palms turned up, or the hands resting onto the belly. With the eyes closed, starting to deepen the breath. Feeling the breath moving in your body, feeling your body being moved by your breath. So feeling the belly, the ribs, the chest rising as you breathe in and softening as you breathe out. Just keep watching the breath. Just keep observing, feeling into it and lengthening out the exhale. Letting your whole body get heavy into your mat. The shoulders drop down away from your ears, the arms heavy, the legs heavy. The muscles in the face soft. How do you feel as you lay here today? What's different from today since the last time you practiced? Anything, something, nothing? Just observe. And scan the whole body. And making a mental note as you do of areas that you need to be careful of in your practice. So although we may always be aware of them, whatever they may be for you, it helps to just acknowledge them at the beginning of practice so that you are aware of them. So you can keep listening out for them and that your focus is on safety. Bearing in mind, although I can see you, I cannot see you as clear as I would be if we were at class. So you need to take extra care, really listening in to what you're doing. Even though this is a mellow practice, we still want to feel what we're doing. The sensation of stretch or strength, the feeling of the breath moving us. When it feels good to go deep into postures to really feel a strong stretch, great. And when it doesn't feel so good, back it off. And maybe for today's practice, setting an intention. What do you intend to achieve or feel from your practice? And if nothing comes to mind, maybe you'd wish to dedicate your practice to someone, to something, or to yourself, your health. And the reason I invite you to have a dedication or intention is it just gives the practice more meaning, more focus. Been studying the practices off this week with a breath technique called the square breath. So we're going to add in a few minutes of that right now. It includes breath pauses, and if you find that you are not comfortable with holding the breath, then please leave those parts out. It shouldn't make you feel anxious or feel that you're struggling for the breath. So as the name would suggest, 4 parts to it. And I'm going to instruct for the count of 4, but you might find that you need to make it a count of 3 or maybe even longer. So we'll start off with 4 and see how you go. So inhale for a count of 4, and then hold the breath for 4. Then exhale for 4. And hold for 4. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold, and keep going. So you breathe in, then pause, breathe out, pause. So find a count, a breath and length that works for you. Does it need to be shorter? Does it need to be longer? The breath pausing at the end of the inhale and at the end of the exhale. This helps to bring balance to our emotions, our nervous system, equanimity, equaling out. Carrying on with that for a little bit longer. Square breathing, even breathing. Just go back to normal, easy, regular breathing. And start to bring some movement into your body. Wiggle your toes, your fingers, your ankles, your wrists. If you have the legs bent, lengthen them out long along your mat. Then roll the legs in and out, and roll the arms in and out at the same time. So you might need to lift your arms a little from the mat to do that. So roll from your shoulders, roll from your hips, arms and legs long and rolling. And then from here, keeping the legs and the arms still from that rolling, bring the legs a little closer together. I'm going to do 3 full body stretches. So inhale as you take the arms up and back, stretch from your arms through to your feet, stretch, 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 stretch. And then exhale, relax. And do it again. Inhale, stretch super long, legs and arms. Reach out through the fingertips, out through your heels or your toes. And exhale, relax. One more time. Inhale, stretching super long. Squeeze the buttocks like you're almost trying to lift them up away from the mat. And then exhale, relax, let it go. Draw your knees into your chest. Hug them in. Take hold of the knees. Rock from side to side. And then start to stir the legs around. Stir the pelvis around. Circling into the low back. And as always, you can use the hands or let the legs move on their own. And circle the other way. That just starts to free up some low back muscles and the joints in the low back. So there might be some clicking that happens. Good. And then each hand to each knee and circle the knees open. Inhale. Circle them back in towards one another. Exhale. If it's awkward to use the hands, let the legs move on their own. So just stirring the legs around, oiling the hip joints. So in other classes this week, we've been kind of doing the asymmetric, where I've just been circling one leg and the other leg is just floating. Today, just getting into both of them straight away. Change directions, go the other way. Stirring them around, waking up the low body. And then keep the knees open in frog pose. Hold the shins or the ankles, circle your feet. Keep coming back to the breath. Circle the other way. And then close the knees back up. And then keep the legs where you've got them. Interlock your fingers and turn the hands inside out. So your palms of your hands are facing up towards the ceiling. And we're going to stretch the legs and the arms up at the same time. So breathe in first. And as you exhale, stretch the legs up and stretch the arms up. So soles of the feet up to the ceiling, palms of the hands up to the ceiling. Inhale, bend everything. Do it again. Exhale, stretch your arms up, legs up. Inhale, bend. Exhale, stretch up. Inhale, bend. Exhale, stretch up. Inhale, bend, drawing the knees to the chest. Exhale. Breathe in and lift the forehead up towards the knees. Exhale, not crunching up too high, not straining the back or the neck. Inhale, lower the head down. And do it again, just a little lift. Exhale, curling up into a small ball. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, lifting. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, lifting. Inhale, head comes down, feet come down onto the mat. Exhale, so have your knees bent. We're going to set up for windscreen wiper legs, but the difference being with this one, as we've done in a couple of other classes this week again, is this time we're going to have the knees and the feet together, whereas I usually cue them to have them apart. And bring your arms out into a T shape or cactus arms. So knees are together, ankles together. Breathe in. And as you exhale, drop the knees over to the right and the head turns to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, knees left, head right. Remember not to force the knees to go all the way down. Just let them go where they go. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees right, head left. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees left, head right. Inhale, center. Pause there. Exhale. Bring your arms down alongside the body and lengthen out your legs. So legs long all the way down to the mat. And we're going to do a Vipassana sequence here. So this is alternate knee hugging, but there's a little sequence where it's one breath per movement. So don't worry if you don't get it straight away. We have done it before in class, but we don't do it that often. So first of all, inhale, draw the right knee into the chest, take hold of it. And on your exhale, lift the forehead towards the knee. Inhale as the head comes down. And then exhale as the hands come down to the mat. Flex the right foot, inhale, stretch the right leg up. Keep the leg straight as you lower it down to the mat. Exhale. So it's that sequence. You'll go, aha, I remember. Inhale, left knee comes in, take hold of it. Exhale, the forehead towards the knee. Inhale, head down. Exhale, the hands down. Inhale, stretch the left leg up. And exhale, lower it down to the mat. So there's one movement per breath. Inhale, right knee in, take hold of it. Exhale, forehead to knee. Inhale, head down. Exhale, hands down. Stretch the right leg up. Inhale. Lower it down to the mat on the exhale. Left knee comes in. Inhale, taking hold of it. Forehead to knee. Exhale. Head down. Inhale. Hands down. Exhale. Stretch the left leg up. Inhale. Lower it down to the mat. Exhale. Right knee comes in. Inhale. Take hold of it. Forehead to knee. Exhale. Inhale, head down. Exhale, hands down. Lifting the right leg up. Inhale. Lower it straight down to the mat. Exhale. Last time, left side. Inhale, left knee comes in. Forehead to knee. Exhale. Inhale, head down. Exhale, hands down. Lift the left leg up. Inhale. Lower it down to the mat. Exhale. And then roll the legs in and out. Rock the pelvis from side to side. Good. And then we're going to do supine butterfly flow here. So bend the knees and bring the feet down onto the mat again. Knees together, ankle bones together. Interlock the fingers, turn the hands inside out. This time, instead of your palms facing up towards the ceiling, stretch your arms so that your palms are facing towards your thighs. So your arms aren't up high at the moment. And with this, on the inhale, you'll be taking the arms back behind you, and at the same time, you open the knees out to the side into supine butterfly. So the soles of the feet come together. And then on your exhale, knees come together and your arms come back over to that starting place. So on your inhale, arms back, knees open. Let them drop down to the floor. And then as you exhale, close the knees back up and the arms come back up and over towards the belly. So keep going with that. Inhaling, opening. Exhaling, closing. Inhaling, opening. Exhaling, closing. So keep going with that. How slow can you move and breathe? So not forcing it to be like super mega slow, but just noting how slow can you comfortably breathe and move. And there's no pausing of the breath, and there's no extra breaths. So it's just one long inhale to open. And when the exhale arrives, then it's one long exhale to close the position back up. So synchronizing breath, movement, and feeling what you're doing. So noticing how this feels in your shoulders, your chest, your upper back, inner thighs, low back, hips. This is a full body movement. It's a passive back bend, chest opener, shoulder, hip opener.
Great to do first thing in the morning if you can't remember anything else from your yoga, or you don't want to do anything else of your yoga. And it's great to do last thing at night before you go to sleep, because it's very grounding, very calming. So wherever you are within your flow of movement right now, do this sequence 2 more times. Take your time with it.
Good, and at the end, when you've done those 2, don't let me rush you if you're still moving, carry on. But just at the end, you just come back to that starting place where the knees are together and the hands are just resting onto the belly, and then maybe taking constructive rest pose as we've been opening the legs, so taking the hips into the other direction, that internal rotation. So constructive rest, knees together, feet open. Just let the body settle, notice the benefits. And then taking your arms back out wide to the side. Keep the feet where you've got them, but open the knees. And we're going to do windscreen wiper legs again, but this time like we usually do it in class, with the feet open and the knees open. And super floppy legs. Breathe in. Drop the knees to the right and the head to the left. Exhale. Inhale, center. And exhale, knees left, head right. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees right, head left. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees left, head right. Inhale, center. And then take the knees over to the right again. Exhale, and then pause there. And then if you need to draw that right hip underneath the body a little bit more, do so. And we're going to come into a fallen figure 4 shape. So your knees stay over to the right, but you bring your right ankle onto the outside of the left thigh knee area. You don't have to press down unless that feels good. Just the weight of the leg resting on the other leg is enough. So the outside of that left thigh is where you've got your right ankle. So I'm just going to have a little looky of legs, seeing if they're kind of in the right direction, right place. Hard to tell. So just going to go with that again. Knees are dropping to the right. It's the right ankle that you have onto the outside of the left thigh. So if you was to look down at your legs, they kind of look like a figure 4 shape, but dropped over. Yeah, so I'm having a little look, Sarah. I'm trying to work out what leg's doing what there. I think yes. There we go. Fabulous. Well done. I've decided I need a massive, great big screen now to do this work, so I can see everyone just a little bit better. I have got an extra monitor going on though, but it's still quite tough. So now carefully let the right ankle slide off the left leg. Bring the knees through to center, inhale. And then keep the knees apart as you drop the knees over to the left, exhale. Maybe shift the left hip underneath the body a little bit more. Wriggle and adjust to make that comfortable. And then keeping the knees dropped over to the left. It's the left ankle that we place onto the outside of the right thigh. The left ankle onto the outside of the right thigh, and you can give a little bit of a press down as long as the knees are okay with that. Otherwise, just the weight of the leg being there will be enough. Good. Let's see how we are on this side. Yeah. That's it. I can see feet and knees of everyone a bit better there. How is the breath? And carefully letting the left ankle slide off the right leg. Draw the knees back through to center, inhale, and then realign the pelvis back underneath you if you're a bit skew-iff, a bit off center, and draw the knees into the chest, hug them in, rock a little from side to side. We're going to do our core breathing. So bring the feet down onto the mat with the knees bent. If you have a yoga brick or you have a cushion or a Pilates ball, whatever kind of equipment and stuff you may or may not have, if you have got something, then bring it in between the knees and squeeze it. If you don't worry about it. You can keep the legs hip width apart, or you can squeeze the knees together if that's comfortable in your hips, your anatomy. If not, hip width legs are good. If you have a brick or a cushion, squeeze it and keep squeezing it. And then make sure that your back is pressing down into the mat, especially the back of the waist. Keep that press as you inhale, inflate the belly, allow it to rise on the in-breath. And then exhale, contract, squeeze the abdominals in, pelvic floor muscles squeezing up, but the buttocks staying down. Inhale, inflate, belly rises. Exhale, contract, squeeze, abdominals in, pelvic floor muscles cinching in the waist. That inwards, upwards action. Inhale, inflate, belly rises. Exhale, contract, squeeze, abdominals in, pelvic floor muscles. Inhale, inflate, belly rises. Exhale, contract, squeeze, abdominals in, pelvic floor muscles, squeeze the brick or cushion or whatever you are using. One more time. Inhale, inflate. Exhale, contract, squeeze, cinch in the waist, the abdominals, press the back of the waist into your mat, squeeze the pelvic floor muscles, squeeze everything and hold. Squeeze and hold. Squeeze a bit more. Hold. And breathe. Take the brick away, if you have one there. And draw your knees into your chest. Hug them in. And rock. And then bring the feet back down onto the mat with the knees bent. And interlock the fingers behind the head. So you're resting your head into your hands. Your elbows stay wide. And although these are going to look like crunches, don't make them aggressive like that. It's much more mindful movement than doing any kind of sit-up. So we will be lifting the upper body up. But don't think of this as an ab position or an ab workout just yet. So breathe in. And as you exhale, lift the upper body up, not too high. Keep your elbows back. And what I'm looking for here is more of a neck stretch rather than thinking abdominals. Okay, so let your head get really, really heavy into your hands. And let it be your arms that are holding your head up. So let the shoulders drop down, elbows wide, head heavy, very, very heavy, heavy head. So there's no abdominal work going on at all here. Your arms holding your head up. So we're stretching, tractioning the neck. Breathe. You're not coming up too high, there's no need. And then that is the action I want you to keep with your head, but you're pressing your head back into your hands. Your head is heavy, heavy, heavy. And then engage your abdominals. Draw them in, draw them up. So you've got that inner body squeeze happening. Keep the upper body up as long as you're okay with that. It's not a struggle. Anytime that it feels like it's a struggle, bring your head down. If you're all right with it, draw your knees into your chest. Head heavy into those hands. Pelvic floor core muscles switched on. Breathe in. And as you exhale, extend the right leg out long, like you're taking it down to the mat, but don't take it all the way down. Hover. Inhale as the right knee comes back in. And then exhale as the left leg stretches out long away from you. Keep engaging core muscles. Inhale, left knee in. Exhale, right leg out long. Inhaling in. Exhale, left leg out long. Hover it. Inhale it in. Exhale, right leg. Inhale in. Remember, this is a mellow class, so move mellowly. Exhale, left leg out long, whatever on earth that means. Inhale, left leg in. Exhale, right leg out. So try to put some ease into it rather than aggressive efforts. Inhale, right leg in. Exhale, left leg out. Keep going. It doesn't matter if you're now working different sides to me as I'm waffling away. Keep engaging the core muscles. Make sure you're not pulling on the head. Remember, your head is super, super heavy into your hands. Core muscles really drawing in. So you might be starting to feel that right about now, or maybe 5 minutes ago. Good. Keep applying ease as well as your effort, so don't start to let it get aggressive. Mellow, mindful movements, even when we're doing core stuff. Good, and I'm just picturing your face, Natasha, as you're doing this. Now is not the time to be cursing me in your mind. So if you're okay with doing this a couple more times, one more time to each side, great. If you're feeling too much in the neck rather than anywhere else, relax down, you've done enough. Good, and then everyone bringing the head down, taking the hands away. Holding onto the knees, just give your head a slight rock from side to side, ease out your neck. And then relax the head and rock the lower body, the legs from side to side. And then being super happy, there's no more core work, that's it. Yay! Love it, Tasha, yay! And then from here, if it's appropriate to roll over onto your belly in the direction that you're facing, great. If you need to adjust and turn around, then take your time to do that. So we're coming onto the belly. And then let your elbows be out to the side, rest your forehead down onto your hands and rock the pelvis from side to side. And then you could keep your forehead down onto your hands, or you could turn to be on one cheek, face cheek, not butt cheek. So you could turn the head if it's better for the neck. And with your right leg, bend the right knee, so your right toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. So this is actually going to work into the SI joint, the sacroiliac joint into your low back. But it's going to feel like the movement's coming from your knee. It's not really coming from your knee. And all we're going to do is, whilst we're laying here just kind of chilling out on the belly, is we're going to imagine we're drawing a circle on the ceiling with your big toe. So start to circle that lower leg. And it doesn't have to be a big circle, it can be small. Some people feel this a lot into the low back, so do approach it with caution rather than going into it with a massive circle straight away. So you're moving the foot, the lower leg out to the side, down towards the back end of your mat's direction, and also a little crossing the midline of the other leg. So don't make it kind of some kind of weird ellipse. It's trying to be as best circle as you can. Whether it's small circle, big circle, doesn't matter. Try not to arch the back here. What I mean by that is not to kind of be sticking your butt out in the air as you do it. So just make sure that the pubic bone is gently pressing down towards the mat. I'm saying that because I'm just kind of noticing I'm starting to lift the bottom up for some strange reason. You may be doing the same. So just gentle press, hip bones, pubic bone down into the mat as you circle the leg. And just notice how that's feeling into the low back. Does it feel a little tender, achy, uncomfortable? Some won't be feeling anything. So it's not a sign that you're doing anything wrong. It just depends on how happy your low back is today. Change the direction of the circles, go the other way. So sometimes when I do this I feel 0, nothing. Other times it's very, very tender. Still breathe as deep as you can, even though you're laying on your belly. Your ribs do expand on your back. Did you know that your lungs are bigger at the back of your body than they are at the front of the body? So if we have any difficulties breathing, then we should practice laying on the belly, breathing more. Wake up those back ribs, back lungs, back muscles. And so now after you've been circling the low leg for a while, keep the leg still. And now circle just your foot. Circle from the ankle. So keeping the rest of the leg still, the foot up in the air, just circling the ankle, and circle it the other way. And sometimes the brain gets a bit mushy in trying to circle the foot when we're laying like this. It doesn't always be the smoothest circle. And then point and flex the foot, pointing the toes up towards the ceiling and then pressing the heel up to the ceiling, pointing and flexing. Keep checking in with your breath. And then keep the foot flexed. Take care with this when you're not lifting too high. This is now more strengthening into the low back. So keep the hip bones down, breathe in. And as you exhale, start to press the foot up towards the ceiling. So your knee and your thigh start to lift a little from the mat, not too high. Inhale as you come down and keep going with that. Exhale, pressing the foot to the leg up towards the ceiling. Inhaling down. Exhaling, pressing up. Inhaling down. Exhaling, pressing up. Inhaling down and then lower the leg all the way down to the mat. Exhale and rock the pelvis from side to side. And then keep the right leg out long, bend the left leg. And we're going to start to circle the lower leg on this side now. Start off small, as though you're drawing a circle on the ceiling with your big toe. And if the small circles feel all right, then there's scope to make the circle bigger. Remembering to kind of cross over the other thigh with the foot as you circle. So not just taking it out to the side and back, but also to the other side as well. As perfect a circle as you can make here. Remember not to be sticking the bottom out towards the ceiling, but have a gentle press of the hip bones and the pubic bone down towards the mat. Just so you're not overarching the low back more than is normal and necessary. How does it feel on this side compared to the other side? Is this side more the niggly side that feels uncomfortable? Or is this side better? Or is it same? No sensation on either side, or lots of sensation on either side? Just notice. Change direction, go the other way. Stirring the leg around. And then come back to stillness with the low leg, and then just circle the foot, just the ankle. How good are you at circling the foot? Does the brain connect down to the foot to circle when we're laying on the belly, or does it completely go messy? looks all right from what I can see. Then change direction of the foot circle, go the other way. And then point and flex the foot. So pointing the toes up towards the ceiling, and then the heel, moving back and forth. And then keep the foot flexed. Press the pubic bone and the hip bones down into the mat, so they don't do too much lifting here. They stay rooted down. Breathe in. And as you exhale, start to carefully press the foot up towards the ceiling, so your knee and your thigh lifts off the mat. Inhale as it comes down. And do it again. Exhale, pressing up, not too high. Inhaling down. Exhale, pressing up. Inhaling down. Exhale, pressing up. Inhale, thigh and knee comes down, lower leg comes down to the mat. Exhale. Relax the legs, rock the pelvis from side to side. Good, and then bring your palms down beside your chest, so cobra position hands. So hands, palms down by the chest. Squeeze the elbows in towards the sides of the body, roll your shoulders down your back and bring the shoulder blades together. So like you're squeezing a little peach in between your shoulder blades. Stretch the legs long and again press the pubic bone down towards the mat just to keep the arch from over exaggerating in your low back. Keep those actions as we do our cobras. So pressing into the hands, inhale, lifting the upper body up, not coming too high. And exhale as you lower down, keeping the shoulders drawing back the whole time. Inhale, lifting. Good. Exhale, lower down, keeping shoulders away from ears. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, lower. This time we're going to lift to cobra and then move slowly to child. Inhale, lifting. And then as you exhale, press into your hands, come onto your knees and slowly take the bottom back towards the heels. Open the knees as wide as your mat and bring the big toes together. And then drop the belly and the chest down towards the mat and stretch the arms forwards. Good, so knees as wide as you comfortably can take them. Not to the point it makes you cry. Not quite that wide, comfortably wide. And then come to all fours. So come onto hands and knees. Bring the knees to be underneath the hips, so just hip width apart with the knees. Fingers spread wide, root the hands down and press the shins down and the tops of the feet down into the mat. So root the lower legs down a lot. And inhale as you draw the chest forwards, tilt the pelvis up so your back dips. And then exhale as you draw the belly in, give it a little squeeze in as you round the back, tucking the pelvis under, head in between the arms. Inhale, extending. And exhaling, rounding. Really press the hands and shins down on that rounding. It will connect into core muscles more. Inhaling, extending. Exhale, rooting down and rounding. Inhaling, extending. And exhaling, rounding. Inhale back to a neutral spine, pausing there, exhale. Now in our all fours, we're going to try and do rib circles. So with this, imagine that you're trying to circle your ribs around. So we tend to start to move the pelvis a lot with that. Can you isolate it? Just circling the ribs forwards, side, back, side, forwards. So I don't think that's one that you can see too well on the video of me kind of just rotating around. And try not to go with so much of how you think it looks. Go with how it feels. So maybe close your eyes. And just seeing what kind of rotation you can get through that thoracic area, your rib area. And then circle the other way. Yeah, we might be into this point now, kind of, I think I'm overthinking it. There doesn't seem to appear to be any movement around my ribs. They're stuck. That's why we do yoga, to try and unstick the sticky stuff. Good, and then keep the ribs still and circle the pelvis. So you might find that bit a bit easier. Hula hoop the pelvis. And then circle the other way. And then put it all together. Circle everything. So you might get a squeeze on the side of the waist as you do it, and if you wanted to move a little forwards and back with it, you don't have to be completely static with the shoulders over the wrists. But what I'm looking for you to get is kind of freestyle your cat movement. Get as much movement into ribs, shoulders, hips, spine. Circle the other way. Moving shoulders, ribs, hips, spine. Head will be moving a little too. And then take it to your child's pose. And if the wrists feel like, wow, that was a lot of weight bearing into the hands there, give your wrists a squeeze out. Do your wrist clear. Bring the wrist with the other hand and squeeze. Good, and then I've subjected other folk in classes this week to this one, so you're going to be no exception. Come back to all fours. And we're going to do the forearm stretch. So with this, I'm going to turn to face you just because it will make a little bit more sense of where we're going with the hands and with the wrists. So with your right hand, lift it an inch off the mat. Turn the right hand to the outside, so turn it outwards, away from you. Good, Angela, no, the hand stays down. Good. So you're just hovering your right hand just an inch off the mat, just an inch, just an inch, just an inch. That's it. It's still, your wrist is right under the shoulder. So you're turning the right hand out from your shoulder, and then you're turning your fingertips all the way back towards your knee and bringing the hand down. So you're pressing into the hand. So Angela, I think you need to watch me on that one. So if you've got your right hand facing forwards, right, I've just only literally lifted an inch off the mat. Then I've rotated it out, the hand out and back. So my fingers are now facing towards my right knee. Yeah. Now you press into that right hand. You might be already feeling the stretch into the forearm and you need nothing else. Good. Make sure that you're not crying on the inside from it. If it's really, really that painful, back it off slightly by bringing your weight more forwards. And if it's like, I'm not feeling that at all, then hey, you've got magic forearms. If you do need a bit more, then you could start to press your bottom back towards your heels. Oh. Yep. My teacher friend, she calls it the nasty forearm stretch. It's never nice. And if you do want a bit more stretch into the forearm because you're slightly crazy, just maybe, then with the other hand, you could start to lift each finger up and get a little bit more stretch into the forearm. Okay, I think my muscles are finally getting used to that after doing this 5 times this week. And then if you've taken the bottom back a little, bring it forwards and unrotate that right arm. And then bring the back of the right hand onto the mat and press into it. And this is where if I had all my volume, I'm sure you'd all be doing horrible groans right now. Oh, that's not nice. The nasty forearm stretch. And then release the right hand, give it a shake. And then being super happy to be doing that to the other forearm and the other hand. Yay! So again, I'm going to turn and do the opposite so that I'm mirroring you if you are facing towards the camera. So you keep the left arm long and you keep the wrist under the shoulder, but you lift your left hand just an inch off the mat. You turn the left hand out to the side and then rotate it back and around so that your fingers, as best as, are turning towards the knee. It will depend obviously how much rotation in the shoulder you have with that and how far back your fingers turn. Yeah. So left fingers are trying their best to face towards the knee and then press down into that left hand. Again, wrist is right under the shoulder, left arm is strong and straight. You might already have the stretch. Trying not to cry on the inside, not to be clenching up your teeth. Being happy that we're getting into muscles we don't really get into too much, that get quite ignored. But if you spend ages at a desk, and we're all doing a lot more online at home stuff, so you might be doing a lot of that, you'll need this. If you're not feeling too much stretch, big if, then you could start to press your bottom back towards the heels a little bit. Well, that intensifies it, but you keep the elbow, the arm straight. There's no bend in the elbow. And if you want to do the finger lift with it, you can use your other hand to pick each finger up. That might be getting too intense, and if it is, don't do it. It doesn't need to be excruciating. Yes, I mean, it's intense, but it shouldn't be to the point that, you know, when I next see you, you want to kill me. Right? Not that intense. And then if you've taken the hips back a little, bring them forwards, turn the hand back out to the side and forwards, so unrotate it, and then bring the back of the left hand down onto the mat and give a little bit of a press into it, so just an opposite stretch the other way, pressing the back of the hand down into the mat, and give that left hand a shake out. Oh, and it feels like it's never going to work again, right? Good, and then come to all fours, spread the fingers out wide, tuck the toes, breathe in, and on your exhale, push back away from the hands, start to lift up into downward facing dog. Take your time in getting there, stepping the feet then a little further back away from the hands and pedal the feet, alternate bending the knees, sway the hips. Make sure the hands are pressing down and forwards, but you're wide across the collarbones, wide across the shoulder blades. So you're not hunching your shoulders up around your ears. You're not excessively tucking the chin to kind of look back to your thighs, but at the same time, you're also not keeping the head lifted as though you're looking in between the hands. Ears in line with inner upper arms. And then from here, make sure that you have room behind you, that you're not going to kick a chair, a bed, a wall, or anything else. And inhale as you stretch the right leg up. And pausing there, exhale, hands pressing down a lot. And then inhale as you come up onto the left tiptoes, lifting the heel up. And then exhale as you press the left heel down towards the mat. Doesn't matter if it doesn't make it down. It's the action of trying. Inhale. Lower the right leg down, exhale, step out the feet, sway the hips. And then pressing the right foot down to the mat, inhale, lift the left leg up. Pausing there, exhale. Come up onto the right toes, inhale, lifting the right heel up. And then exhale, press the right heel down to the mat. Inhale. Left leg lowers, exhale. Breathe in, lower to the knees, take the hips back to the heels, child's pose, exhale. And if you need to squeeze out your wrist, do wrist clear again, please take that. Good, then come back to all fours. Fingers spread wide, toes tuck, inhale. Lift to your downward facing dog again, exhale. So in this downward facing dog, we're going to lift the leg again, but we're going to do lamp post dog. We're going to pee the dog, basically. So from here, inhale, lift the right leg up. And as you exhale, bend the right knee and start to open the pelvis towards the right side. So it's like you're trying to aim your right knee pointing up towards the ceiling. Think as though you're trying to kick your left butt cheek with your right foot. You won't be able to, unless you're kind of slightly weird, but as if you could. So hips are opening. No, like you're a dog peeing against a lamppost. This is really weird looking at you all upside down doing that one. And then square the hips back to the mat, inhale, and bring the right foot down, exhale. Let's try that loveliness to the left side. Press the right foot down, inhale, lift the left leg up. And then exhale, bend the left knee, open the pelvis towards the left side. So it's like you're trying to aim your left knee up towards the ceiling and like you're trying to kick your right buttock with your foot. Hands pressing down strong. Remembering to breathe, square the hips back to center, inhale. Bring the left foot down, exhale. Breathe in and walk your feet up to your hands. Come to your ragdoll forward bend at the front of the mat. Dangle down over bent legs. Have 2 fists space between the feet. You can let the arms just dangle, or you can fold them and frame the head. You can be still or you can sway. And then from here, we're going to do our roll-ups. And the only way that you can do a safe spinal roll-up is by keeping your knees bent, your core engaged, and letting your head be the last thing that lifts. So from here, 2 fist space between the feet, keeping the knees bent, breathe in. And as you exhale, draw in the belly and roll up. Keeping the knees bent, head low. Head is the last thing to lift once your shoulders are above your hips. And then when you're at the top, breathe in and reverse it. Exhale, bend the knees, drop the head, engage the core muscles, rolling back down. So we're going to move through that a few more times. When you're down at the bottom, breathe in. Draw the belly in, roll up, exhale. Knees bent, head heavy. Head is the last thing to lift, and then you breathe in. And you exhale, tucking the chin, rolling down. Imagine you're like a bit of wallpaper that you're peeling off the wall, rolling down, down, down. Good, and then staying down this time. Going to come into chair pose. So from here, bending the knees, drop the bottom, inhale, engage the core muscles, reach your arms up, exhale. So really draw your belly back to the spine, pelvic floor squeezing up, fingers spread, reaching, but your shoulders down away from ears, bottom pressing back. How low can you go today? How low can you go? How low can you go? Breathe in, come to stand on your exhale. Lift and stretch a little bit more. Inhale, reach through the arms, lift the chest. Prayer pose, exhale. And drop the arms down to the side. we're going to take our side bending, swaying palm. So the right arm out to the side and up. Inhale. Side bending over. Exhale. Coming up. Inhale. Left arm lifts. Exhale. Over. Inhale up. Exhale over. Inhale up. Exhale over. Left arm lifts straight up. Inhale. Lower down to the side. Exhale. Interlock the fingers behind the back. Draw your shoulders back. If you've had previous shoulder injuries or elbow injuries, keep your elbows a little bent rather than having them straight, too straight. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift the arms up. Inhale. And pausing there, exhale. So some things to look out for. When our arms don't lift too high, we'll tend to start jutting the chin and the chest forwards. So try not to let that happen. Keep thinking it's the crown of the head lifting up. It really doesn't matter how high your arms lift here. If you've got that feeling of squeeze between your shoulder blades, you're lifting your arms up to the best that you can. Doing great. Keeping that, inhale. Draw in the belly as you start to come forwards. Exhale. So stick the bottom out behind you, flat back, legs straight or bent as you come forwards. Dropping the head down, lifting the arms up. Pressing into the feet. And you might have to be having your legs very bent due to hamstrings being tight. That's okay. Coming into chair pose. Inhale, bend the knees, drop the bottom, undo the fingers. Exhale, reach the arms forwards and up. I have no idea where the name chair came from this pose. The Sanskrit is Utkatasana, which means awkward posture. Awkward. So it should just be called awkward posture. But there's many other names for this pose. Fierce pose, chair pose, I hate it pose. Breathe in, come to stand, exhale. Lift, stretch, inhale. Prayer at the heart, exhale. So let's do some slow rounds of sun salutations, Surya Namaskar. So coming to the front edge of your mat. Feet hip width. If you don't have space to take arms wide and up, take them forwards or just move through the midline through prayer. So taking the arms up, inhale. Bend the knees to your forward bend, exhaling, melting down. Fingertips to shins, lift halfway to flat back, inhale. Fold into the legs, exhale. Bring the hands down onto the mat. And step to downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot steps all the way back. Exhale, the left foot back. Draw in the belly and round the spine forwards to your plank. Inhale. Lower down to the mat. Exhale. You can roll the body down, but keeping your shoulders back. Stretch the legs, lift to cobra. Inhale, so the legs are really active as your upper body lifts. Toes tuck. Transfer to the knees and then press back and up to downward facing dog. Bending both knees, looking forwards between the hands like you're an animal about to pounce. And so you do use a little bit of momentum to help out with this. So you inhale, step the right foot forwards, left foot forwards, extra steps if the feet didn't want to come all the way up, and fold into the legs, exhale. Fingertips to shins, lift and lengthen halfway, inhale. Draw in the belly, come all the way up, exhaling as you lift so you don't get lightheaded. Lifting tall, stretch, inhale. Bend the knees, coming all the way back down, forward bend, exhale. Fingertips to shins, lift and lengthen, inhale. Fold into legs, exhale. Hands down to the mat, step to down dog, left foot back, inhale. Right foot back, exhale. Draw in the belly, round the spine forwards to your plank, inhale. So that wave-like action that starts with the pelvis tucking, follows all the way through, and then lower down to the mat, exhale. Cobra, inhale. Toes tucked, downward facing dog. Exhale. Bending both knees, look forwards between the hands. So get the bottom low and back. You can use that little bit of momentum to kind of help propel you forwards. And you inhale, left foot forwards, right foot forwards. Exhale, fold into the legs. Fingertips to shins, lift and lengthen. Inhale. Draw in the belly, come all the way up. Exhale, flying wide. Inhale to lift tall, stretch. Prayer pose, exhale. Bring the hands onto the hips. And we're going to step from the front. We're going to step 1 foot back. You'll choose which one is right for you depending on which way you're facing, so that we come into a wide angle forward bend. So I'm going to be stepping my right leg back because it will just mean that I'm facing you. Okay. So feet hip width apart. This is really old school way of getting us to a wide angle forward bend. So take your pick which leg you're going to be stepping back, and inhale, big step back with that foot. Exhale, land, hopefully. And if you didn't, just neaten it up afterwards, it's all right. So adjust your feet now so that your toes are in line. And if the feet didn't land wide enough, go a little bit wider. So we're going to take our wide angle forward bend here. So inhale as you lift the chest up. Draw in the belly and come forwards, hinging from the hips. Exhale. And you can keep your hands to the hips, tractioning the hips back. Or you can have your hands to your thighs, your shins, your ankles, or hands down onto the mat. If you have a brick and you want to use that to help bring the floor up a little higher. And if it's not bricks, it can always be books, remember. You can always pile up a whole little library in front of you. Because it just helps. Sometimes when the hands are down touching something, we can then lift the buttocks up a little bit higher, thinking like our pelvis and our hips are like wheels that we're turning towards the back wall and up towards the ceiling. And then can you use your breath to lengthen, relax into the shape a little bit more? Can you use your exhales to give into this a little bit more? So feel the backs of the legs lengthening, the inner thighs lengthening, stretching. It's tractioning the low back. It's one of the best stretches for the low back in all of yoga. So if we can start to make friends with this position, great. Think of the outside edges of your feet pressing down a little bit more. We tend to get a bit heavy towards the inner edge of the foot, the big toe edge. Press the pinkies down. Jaw relaxed. And then from here, soften the knees, so bend them a little, breathe in. And as you exhale, start to toe heel the feet in towards one another, not too close. So bring them in, maybe about 1 or 2 of your feet. We're going to take this into a squat, which for some is not necessarily knee friendly. So you might need to adapt to make this a happy place for your knees. Turn the toes out towards the corners of the mat so they're not facing forwards. They're slightly turned out. And then bend the knees, drop the bottom down, and either bring your forearms onto your thighs and stay quite high, or if your hips and allow for you to sink down lower, and you might need to keep adjusting slightly. So that was a very wide position I went for there for a squat. Bit enthusiastic, Vernette Butler. That's it. And even if you go low with the hips, but your ankles won't allow, and your heels need to be up in a squat, that's okay. Something you could do with that is, if you have cushions, is to put them underneath the heels so that they've got some support if your heels are way up high and you're down low. And if you're down low, hips and knees are happy with it, then use your elbows to press the knees apart. So we'll all be in a different variation of squats. So Please honor your body, your knees, your hips with where you need to be. And if you are kind of in your squat with your forearms onto thighs, that's great, but can you drop your bottom down just that wee bit more so you're feeling something? No cursing me, folks. All right, make it a happy squat. It's only one. I could have given you another 10 rounds of sun salutations instead. And you're thinking, yeah, I wish you had. Bring the fingertips down. Inhale, lift the bottom back up. And exhale there, turn the feet forwards and just rock the hips a little from side to side. And then whilst you're down there in that forward bend, keep in the forward bend, but turn back to face towards the front of your mat. So you just walk the feet around, still whilst you're dangling down. And bring the hands down onto the mat and start to walk back to your downward facing dog. So just stepping it back. Get a good press down of your hands. Lift up with your hips. And then come into child's pose. Lower to the knees. Take the hips back to the heels, knees together or knees mat width apart. Options for your arms. Stretch them out long, or keep the arms out long, but bend your elbows and come into that secret prayer position where you bring the palms of the hands together and you take your hands back behind your head. So if you can't see that from where I am down there, I'll do it upright. So your hands would be in this position whilst your forehead and your elbows are down onto the mat. And you wriggle the elbows a little further forward so you kind of start to feel a bit more stretch into your armpits. Staying with the breath. And then if you're doing that secret prayer position, bring the hands back down onto the mat. So your arms are stretching out. We're now going to get a little bit of a side bend in our child pose. So you breathe in. As you exhale, start to walk the hands over to the right. So reaching them out at a diagonal. That's it, so if I face towards you, if you need that. Yeah. Reaching them out towards the right side. Maybe crossing the left hand over the right. What you're looking for is the stretch into that right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, left ribs area. All the while still pressing the bottom back towards your heels. And breathing that too. Then walk the hands to the center, inhale. And then walk them over to the left, as far over to the left as you can, but still pressing the bottom back. Maybe just reaching the arms out diagonally to the side there, or crossing your right arm over the left. What we're looking for is to feel some lengthening stretch sensation into the right shoulder blade, right side body. So if you haven't got that, explore, play around a little bit till you find it. And walk the hands back to the center, inhale, exhaling there. And come back to all fours. So something a little crazy for you now, but really good for the low back and the pelvis. So that area, hopefully it's freed up, but just in case it's not, then we're going to do arse writing. Yes, you heard me right. So what are we going to do with this? Well, as the name would suggest, we're going to write with our tailbone your whole name. Okay, so let's have a little bit of a concentration on this. So your whole name, including your middle name. Because when I did this the other day, I then had people asking me afterwards, was it in capitals or was it in lowercase? I don't care. So have a little go with that. Trying to write your name with your tailbone, with your pelvis. And it can be big letters, small letters. The point of it is to get some movement into the pelvis, which is hopefully already woken up by now, but if it isn't, it will be by the end of it. So there's circling movements that have to happen, side to side, up and down. Writing your whole name. Okay, so when you've reached the end of your name, don't let me rush you because I'm sure you're really enjoying that. Carry on until you've reached the end. But when you have reached the end, then child's pose is there again for you. And then we're going to end up back to our butterfly shape. And the rest come to butterfly. We'll be in butterfly for some time, so no need to rush to get there. I'm going to bring the soles of the feet together, arms length away from you, so pretty far out with the feet. What did you do in your yoga class today? I wrote my name with my bum. Lift the chest up, inhale. And relax forwards on your exhale. Joking aside though, it's a really good movement to do. So now, just soften, relax in the shape. Just focus to your breath. So less about movement, less about the position. Back to all about the breath. It doesn't matter how far forward you are. If it doesn't feel good coming forwards in your back, remember you've always got the option that you can have the hands back behind you, lifting the chest up. So you could always be with that. Long, slow breaths. From here, coming up, inhale. Exhaling there, use your hands to close the knees up. Round over the legs, give yourself a hug. Then we'll take an easy twist before we come to lay down. So come to cross-legged as long as that's an easy position for your body. If not, go wide with the legs. Prop up the hips as much as you need to. What's most important is having a nice tall spine. Take the arms widened up. Inhale. Cats just love the cameras. They can't help themselves. And as you exhale, twist around to the right. And we're going to be holding this twist. So the right fingertips are down behind you, holding the spine tall. So you're not bearing your weight into those fingertips or the hand that much. You're not leaning back. You're nice and tall, nice and upright. Left hand to the outside of the right thigh. I tend to bring the back of the hand to the outside of the thigh, so it kind of just gives me a little bit more of a gentle leverage around. Keep thinking of that right shoulder blade moving down your back. And the head and the neck just continues the spiral to the spine. So you're not cricking the neck to try and turn around too much. Awareness to the breath. Then unwind back around to the front. Take the arms widened up. Inhale. And twist around to the left. Exhale. Left fingertips down behind you. Just to hold you upright. Right hand to the outside of the left thigh or the knee, whether it's the palm holding the leg or the back of the hand pressing against the leg. Turning ribs and chest to the left. Maybe the head turns a little if the neck is happy. Long breaths. Then unwind back around to the front, take the arms wide and up. Inhale. And then draw in the belly as you start to come forwards. Exhaling, draw in the belly, bringing the hands down. Seeing if you can crawl the hands a little further forward. You may be able to, maybe not. It's not a long hold here. And then walk the hands back towards you as you lift up. Inhale. Exhaling there, take the hands behind you and unravel the legs. Give the legs a shake out. And then come to lay down. So find a position that's good for you, a way of coming down that works for you. It might be that you want to roll down boat style. I might be kind of like, no, I'm just eager to get there today. However I get there is good. Once you're there, draw the knees into the chest, hug them in. Rock a little from side to side. And we're going to take bridge pose. So bring the feet down onto the mat, knees and feet hip width apart. Arms down alongside the body, tuck the chin slightly. Breathe in. And on your exhale, tilting the pelvis up, lifting the buttocks up away from the mat. Pressing down through your arms, hands and feet. Not letting the knees splay out wide, but squeezing them in towards one another. Breathe in. And coming down as you breathe out, easing down. And once the buttocks are down onto the mat, draw your knees into the chest. And then open the knees wide into frog pose. Take hold of the shins or the ankles. And either stay in frog or open up to happy baby. Happy baby being this upside down squat position. You might even find you can hold on to the pinky toe edges of the feet and then press the knees down either side of your ribs. Closing the knees back up and moving into Shavasana, relaxation. So that might be constructive rest pose, pyramid shape with the legs. It might be with the legs out long, feet mat width apart. It might be with the hands resting to the belly or the arms a little away from the body, palms turned up. Just for your best place where you can let the whole body relax. A place where you can let the whole body relax. Heavy arms, heavy legs, muscles in the face relax. You may notice that the minute that you are still, that your mind starts to get really active. Key is not to then beat yourself up for those thoughts that come in, but to just let them come in, let them go out. You're just trying to create a little bit of space between those thoughts coming in. You're just trying to keep the mind a little quieter than it wants to be, to not get caught up in stories that our mind weaves. And if that speaks to you and you have a particularly monkey mind, noisy mind, and just follow the breath in and out, just following the journey of your breath. Keeping the eyes closed. Come back to your breathing and take a long, slow, deep breath in. And let it go. Come back to the body and bring little movements back into the body. Wiggle your toes, fingers, ankles, wrists. And have a big stretch. Inhale the arms up. And exhale the arms back behind you. Stretch from fingers through to feet. And then carefully draw your knees into your chest. Hug them in. Rock a little from side to side or stir the legs around, whatever feels better for your back. And then roll over onto your side, make your way up into sitting, any position. And then taking the arms wide and up. Inhale. Bring the palms together above your head, and as you exhale, bring your hands to prayer at the heart, bowing the head towards the fingertips. Taking this moment, as always, to just acknowledge all that we should be grateful for. And I thank you for choosing to do your practice today with me. Namaste.